Okay, greetings. It's the 2nd of June afternoon. I've just gotten off the phone, extended phone call with Samsung Care. And I know I've been pretty harsh about Samsung, so that's why I'm going on the air right away so I can let you know, to set the record straight and give them a fair representation. I'm going to do my best to tell you what happened. Now, the first thing is I'm using the Bose headset with the wire, and I'm going into the C port. Now, I have to be checking this, and I'm going to keep this short because before I was just able to hear through the headset and not record through it, through the wire, into the adapter, into the C port. My hearing aids are out of my ears. Actually, it was getting pretty uncomfortable. I'm probably going to have to spend a couple $100 to have the ends made for me. I don't think they should be charging that much just for the comfort, but they should be the lifetime. Make them once and be able to use them the rest of your life and covered or what. But they want I want $100 a piece for those little tabs being made to custom fit your ears. It's a little too much if you ask me. As far as what happened, this is my third, well, the phone's in front of me, it's recording this in the cameras. This is my third Samsung S22 Ultra, 512 gigabytes. I chose that phone because of the memory for the cameras to be able to do this, and the nice display. It's a really beautiful screen. And for the memory, the extra memory, so I could record a lot of videos. And I have more than 400 gigabytes of videos on this thing, something like 412, something 410. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to have to buy a hard drive, which I believe I'll be able to connect directly to the C port and get my videos off here so I have more room so I can record more videos. Now, this phone was replaced by T-Mobile, since they're the ones that sold it to me, and I've got the insurance with them. So this is the third Samsung phone. And it took 3 days to get this transfer done, which was a real pain in the derriere because I was without the phone for pretty close to 3 days. It really interfered with my ability to get medical stuff taken care of. So I think we figured it out, and then we went beyond on it. The third phone had the same errors in it. The screen isn't as jumpy as the second phone. There's some settings, especially in the SMS messaging, and some advanced chatting, which I think is something for the future. So I elected to get rid of that and just have straight SMS, because sometimes the things weren't going through it. It was really annoying. I'm still having problems with alerts giving me the YouTube video that I'm trying to open up. But I think that problem is with YouTube and the format they're using, because YouTube's trying to get you to click on everything else to install programs and apps that you don't want, and to access their advertisers that I'm not interested in. So I think the problem is with YouTube. Now, the phone went and did the same alarm on me, so I called up and I was pretty upset. Got a gentleman at T-Mobile, I don't remember his name, and he gave me some pretty simple directions. One was to update the software on the phone. We did that. I told him I didn't think that was going to take care of things because I had done that on a previous phone. And then he wanted me to turn the cord around, the USB power cord, which didn't make much sense and still doesn't make much sense, but it appears to be working. I say appears because I still will get that error message, but then when I respond to the prompting on the screen, I unplug the cable and I hit the mark on the screen to stop the alarm, and then I turn the USB-C cable around, and nobody can tell me why this works, and it seems to work. Then I don't get that alert. Now that's an Android system alert. It's a false positive saying you got water in the port, you're going to damage the phone. And while I was at T-Mobile, one of the ladies there helping me told me that it happens on her iPhone as well. Not as often as it would have happened to me on these phones. So I think we've got it figured out, And after exercising the warranty service and paying those fees twice, and I still have to get a screensaver put on, a screen protector rather, put on this phone. They didn't take care of that at T-Mobile. They just put the original piece of plastic that came with the phone on it. It's kind of annoying to look through. Kind of a thick piece of plastic that has gaps on the sides. Anyway, I thought I saw them putting a screen protector on it, and they told me once you buy their screen protector, you get free screen protectors for the life of the phone, which makes sense because it's a $40 plus tax for the T-Mobile screen protector. So I've got that to resolve yet. But otherwise, it looks like everything's taken care of. And I called Samsung to make a report on the same old problem because I wanted them to know that I think it's resolved. It appears resolved. And of course, they were glad that I took the time to call in and let them know how simple the fix was, because I think there's other people with the same problem. And then we went into the fact that I have Bluetooth hearing aids, a Bluetooth headset, and I wasn't able to get the microphone to work using the hardwire. Now this is the cable that Bose provides with the headset. It's pretty small, real mini plug. It's got the segments, so you've got your earphones and your microphone plugged in. And I'm going into an adapter, a female microphone headset adapter into the USB-C port. So in order to get the microphone to work through the hardwire, Bluetooth has to be completely shut off on the phone. So this appears to be working. I don't know what the sound quality is going to be like. There's 11 microphones in this headset. The air conditioner's blowing in the background. I don't know if you're able to hear me over it better or not. So if this is what works for us, great. Let me know. I did let Samsung know that, hey, I want to be able to hook up, I want to wire my headset in and use Bluetooth on my hearing aids at the same time. Well, we've determined that's not possible because there's a microphone on the hearing aids. So when you have Bluetooth set up, you're not going to be able to get the microphone through the wire to work. So the question has been sent to Samsung Engineering, and they liked hearing this. Of course, I know they would, but the young lady was real sharp and real responsive, real accurate. I don't think English was her primary language, but her English was probably better than mine and yours. She's very intelligent. So they're going to send this before the engineers. And of course, I have a Bluetooth headset with the Bose Music app, and it controls the noise reduction, the noise canceling, I should say. I'd like to be able to use that at the same time. And of course, I've got Bluetooth in the hearing aids, and I'd like to be able to get the frequency correction and the bump up in sound, audio, especially for my left ear, that this provides. And I'd like to run both at the same time. So I may end up talking with Bose. And I think this is important for those of us with hearing impairments. You know, don't shoot guns without suppressors. They call them, wrongfully, they call them silencers in the movies. And there's very few that actually fire completely silent. You can always hear something. So it's not dead silent and you can't hear a gun going off. But I'm shooting supersonic at the range above the speed of sound with a suppressor. And it's a lot easier on me and on my shooting partner than it is shooting just wide open barrel. It's a health issue. And this NFA, National Firearms Act, did not include suppressors in it, but the ATF made law, which is not legal for them to do, and they decided to tax and regulate suppressors. I think medical disabilities take precedent over their vanity at the ATF. So I probably will, I don't like calling the ATF because they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground. You can't get good advice from them over the phone. They don't even know their own stuff. They employ bureaucrats rather than gun experts. You've got some old guys at the ATF that are pretty good. when you run into one of those, you get good information, but you also realize they're not very helpful. Their laws are just plain horrible. So, we seem to have things fixed up pretty well. I'd still like to use my hearing aids to get the better sound quality. And I'd still like to use noise canceling on the headset so that so I can hear better. But if you can hear better doing it this way, and that's all we've got, that's fine. I wanted to see them restore, and they may still figure out that it's best to have a hardwire, specifically dedicated headset input jack into the cell phone and bring that back. That would be nice. That would be accommodating those of us who are hearing impaired. So I think it's a win-win for everybody that I brought it to the attention of Samsung. Yes, I've been pretty harsh on them. It's very annoying when you have trouble hearing and understanding things. There's a sense of isolation that you can't understand unless you have it. And, it's important to have corrective hearing because loss of hearing is associated with dementia. Now, I'm not saying it's the cause of it, but it certainly isolates a person, and the ear is the seat of intelligence. It's through hearing that we develop our intelligence and our understanding. So it's actually more important than sight in that aspect. Sight is wonderful, almost an indulgent. Hearing is a little bit more of a necessity. That's my opinion. What's yours? I've gone long enough in this segment. T-Mobile helped out quite a bit, and Samsung made a big effort to getting things going so that I can get these videos out in better quality for you. Okay, so this is going to go up on me, Dr. John Taylor Kent YouTube channel. My other channel, which I've started to populate with videos, is called Awakening Israel. It's getting lost in the noise because there's so many things associated with Israel, and there's a lot of bad info out there. And I like some of these history things they come up with, but when they start talking about the Jews back in King David's time, they're screwed up. There were no Jewish people then. They were Israelites. The Jewish people did not exist properly, and this is according to the Jewish Encyclopedia, until the time of the Babylonian captivity, which was after 722 BC. So when they try to tell you Moses was a Jew, that again is a bigger lie and another fable. Moses was not a Jew. The religion didn't exist until the Babylonian captivity. And I don't like the religion that came out of Babylon. These people believe in Jewish supremacism, and they tend to be Zionists that come out of there. And they write weird stuff about Yeshua, the Messiah, about Jesus, the Christ. They write some real defamatory stuff in their holy books about he's in hell burning and boiling excrement or urine or boiling semen or something. They write some really perverted stuff about him. I don't appreciate that much. I find it offensive. Anyway, I'm going to try to provide the honest perspectives, and I'm going to let you know as best I can what I have been able to sort out. So my other video on there is why does this government, and it's not our government, it's their government, why does this government continue to harp about white supremacists? And I answered that in that video. So watch that video on Awakening Israel, and I will do my best to answer that for you. So whenever I watch one of these books about the history of one of these videos about the history of Israel, history of the Jews, history of the temples, I always try to comment on those and correct them when they have things in error. I don't think they understand how important it is to understand that stuff. And they are appropriating things from the Bible that don't belong to them. And they're missing out on the bigger picture. You see, most of the Israelites were dispersed from the Assyrian captivity, not the Babylonian captivity. There were two different captivities, and the bulk of the population went out by the help of the Assyrians, who did actually act as enforcers for Yahweh God because we had violated the laws. We did what we were told not to do. And it's important for you to realize that every time we are corrected by another outside force, they're actually quite often acting upon the will of Yahweh, and they're correcting us or inflicting Yahweh's punishment upon us. So the problem really is us, and we have to get ourselves straight. We have to abide by the 10 Commandments. We have to read the Bible for ourselves, because you can't trust the lying pastors. Isaiah wrote about the lying pastors, and he didn't have pastors when he was alive. They were all priests. The priests aren't much better, and in some ways they're worse. So watch out for that as well. And these Bible scholars, got to watch out for them as well in the seminaries, because they lie. They perpetuate lies and they deceive us. Now they're doing their best they can to undermine our faith. But don't you worry, just stick with the Bible, keep reading it, and keep praying to Yahweh that your eyes will be opened and the Holy Spirit, you'll be granted that, and you'll be able to understand things. Because it's really all in the Bible, and what we're going through and what we're going to go through is in there too. So, I got off track in a nice way. I hope you all appreciate that. Well, T-Mobile came through, and Samsung's done their best to, it looks like they're going to look into accommodating hearing impaired people as a result of my complaints. Okay, so this is going to be a positive one out there for both T-Mobile and Samsung. Boy, I hope this phone doesn't mess up and this turning around of the cable doesn't stop working for me. I will be angry with myself for speaking too quickly. But I shouldn't wait any longer, because these are pretty good phones, pretty good support. Okay, bye-bye.